This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, hello, everybody. This is Alex, and this is the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight from the East Coast of the United States. Your actual time around the world may vary. Okay? All right. Okay. So you should know that. Oh, boy. Having a cup of coffee. Oh, look. You see here? Look. The inner part of my cup is green. You see here? And when I hold it like this, it's empty. But anyway. But if I won't use the green cup again. No, I can't do that. That wouldn't be right. Anyway, it's time. Let's see. It's every Wednesday, once a week, once every other week, and then on Thursdays every other week. It's time for us to check in with our old pal, and let's see if we can. I got to do something first. Always on Mondays I'm fablungent. I don't do things right. Let me just move this down here. Oh boy, I don't have enough room on this desk anymore. That's the problem. Let me admit Phil Meyer, and then we'll and his. You should bring your brother on sometime. Your brother is known as Muck.
Yeah, well, I noticed your cup runneth over.
My cup? Yes, it doth runneth over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should.
Well, it's been a crazy week. How's it been for you?
Crazy week? Why has it been a crazy week? Has it been a crazy week for you?
No. My weeks are actually kind of pleasant lately, but it's been a crazy week for the Supreme Court justices and all of that stuff, which we can talk about later.
It's not a bad time for the Supreme Court. How's it a bad time for the Supreme Court justices? They've got a job for life. They shouldn't have any other problems, okay?
Well, they're not supposed to be intimidated. They're not supposed to be, they're not supposed to protest like that.
Oh, we aren't supposed to protest the Supreme Court, Phil? Why not?
Not if they're trying to influence a decision.
They're trying to say how the public feels about this.
How come all the women that are in front of Kavanaugh's house are ugly?
You're sexist.
Yes.
If they were that ugly, they wouldn't have gotten pregnant.
They didn't get pregnant. They just they pay them, I think, to go there.
No, they don't. No, they don't pay them. People are upset by this, but if you want to make the argument, they're getting a little upset too early over this.
Yeah,
I would go along with that argument. I think that the kind of outrage that they're expressing now, they probably should wait until the decision comes out, because it might turn out to be an entirely different decision.
Do you think that their protests will influence the soups one way or another?
I think the fact that this thing was leaked, Roberts may actually change his opinion because of it. Yes. By the way, I'm glitching tonight on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so did you. So
yeah, well, maybe it's lightning.
I don't know. It's just Zoom. They updated Zoom, so they probably put a glitch in it just to make it more interesting.
Right,
no, but I think Roberts could very well change his opinion. We don't know what his opinion is. All we got was Alito's opinion. That's all.
Right.
And he was quoting as his source for his opinion
the leaker.
No. A what do you call it? A person from I think it was 1400.
Really?
Who said that you should not legalize abortion. He was actually quoting that, and this person also believed that you should probably execute women who cheat on their husbands and stuff like that. He was not one of what we would call a great jurist, and hardly an American, and hardly of this century. And he quoted him as his source for his reasoning.
Well, let me ask you something.
Well, wait a minute. How do you feel about that?
Well, did they have abortions in 1400?
I guess they did.
Well, I don't think they did. I saw a post by Larry Brown that says he was going to make an investment in hangars. And, as a kid growing up in the early 60s, my parents used to talk about an uncle, and that guy was known as the Hanger King of New Jersey. So I think he'll be pretty busy, the Hanger King.
This is not funny, Phil.
Well,
No,
it
this
doesn't
is
have to be.
not-
Did you pay me to be funny?
No.
Okay, then you got what you paid
I
for.
paid you to be serious.
Okay. Well, the Hanger King in New Jersey. I think that early in the term, maybe the first 15 weeks, also rape, incest, that type of thing. Maybe not euthanasia, but you don't want to euthanize kids just because maybe they have some issues. What is it? When they some of them have learning disabilities or things like that.
But you can't tell that in advance.
They can do DNA.
No, but let's say you knew your kid was going to be horribly deformed.
Yeah.
Would you want an abortion?
A lot of times that takes care of itself.
No, but forget about it. It hasn't taken care of itself. You're now in your 15th week. You find out because they couldn't tell earlier that your child is going to be terribly deformed. What are you going to do?
Well,
you're really looking for a weaselly answer on this, and there isn't.
No. I was faced with something like this during my ex's first pregnancy. At 6 months, she had a miscarriage, and the baby had some genetic or some sort of issues.
Right.
And
okay.
I said to myself at the time, because I didn't have to make a decision to abort. It happened naturally, but I said at the time, life is tough enough, to put a young life out there that would have to go through all of this difficulty.
But that's not going to be in a lot of these states now where they're outlawing abortion. That's not an excuse.
No, it's not. And I wouldn't have used it as an excuse. It happened naturally. I didn't know it was going to happen.
If you knew that child was going to have a horrible situation for all of its life,
at the point that it was delivered early, and then they told me it was stillborn, I was relieved. But nothing had crossed my mind to do something that would have ended the life on purpose.
Well, then you're really very selfish.
Well, no, it's just the reality of it is that
you want a child to spend all of his life?
I didn't have to make that decision, luckily.
No, I'm saying, but if, let's say you didn't make that didn't happen, and the baby was born and lived, I mean, you would probably to this day be taking care of that child.
Yes, that's true.
And that child would not have any real life like you and I are privileged to have.
Not necessarily.
Phil, come on.
I see kids. I see kids with muscular dystrophy. I see kids with cerebral palsy.
That's different, Phil. They either overcome those things or they deal with them. We're talking about severe disabilities, mentally, for instance. Suppose the kid is a microcephalic, as an example. I mean, come on, you're being ridiculous on this. You're trying to argue against it. The fact is,
do you know?
And the bottom line is, you have no say-so in it.
No, I had no say-so.
Because this is a woman's decision to make for herself.
Not necessarily. In this case, there was two parents, And
Still, she has to have that baby. And if for some reason, and I'm not saying you're this kind of person, but you can always leave town. She always has to have that baby.
unless she leaves town first.
So it should be her decision. And in some cases, there are families that they have 2 kids already. They don't want a third because they can barely afford the 2 that they have, especially in today's financial situation. And so they would like to get an abortion because they don't feel they want to bring another kid into the family. I think that's a perfectly decent excuse.
When I was 50, I was dating a 37-year-old, and I didn't want to have another family.
Yeah.
So I got a vasectomy. And
good for you, Phil, but we're not talking about that.
If you don't want to bring other kids into the world,
they would like to get an abortion because they don't feel they want to bring another kid into the family.
I gotta kill.
I think
the
that's
audio
a perfectly decent excuse.
That's a rerun, folks.
what are you doing? Going to the Jeff School of?
I went to the browser, and the browser had been reset earlier, and I didn't. So forget it.
All right. See, anybody can do that.
Yeah. But anyway, all I'm saying, Phil, is that this is a decision for women to make for themselves, basically.
No, not when there's a family involved.
No. She has to have that baby. She has to put her health in jeopardy. Okay. She has to have that baby and to assume that you will always be there as the father.
Hey, there's half of the families that are out there end in divorce.
Phil, then in that case, if I were a woman, I would not want to have let's say I got pregnant by somebody that I didn't like, that I didn't want to have in my life, that I didn't want to have this common bond with for the rest of my life.
So they have 15 weeks?
No, they have in Texas, I believe it's 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and you sometimes don't even know you're pregnant till about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, there's also what's that Plan B pill?
No, you're not allowed to take that in Texas.
Why?
Because you're not allowed to.
Oh, so you go to Oklahoma and you get it.
No, if you go to Oklahoma, in some of these states where it's illegal now to have an abortion, if you go to another state and get an abortion, you can be considered committing a crime.
Well, that may be, and that may be the law of the land.
But the people that are going to be impacted by this are simply women. The men aren't going to be impacted by it.
Of course they are.
They're not. No, they're not.
Well, there's a lot of men that step up to the plate.
Suppose I had my wife got pregnant. We already had 2 kids. We don't want to have a third one because we can't afford it. We can take care of 2 adequately, but not a third. Am I supposed to be stuck with this? Is she supposed to be stuck with this because you got a fucking moron governor in Texas?
Look, there's lines of people that want to adopt babies. It's harder to get a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 11-year-old adopted, but everybody who wants to adopt a baby. And these adoptive parents even will pay for the health care and the expenses that a single mom or even a family might incur through the birth of that baby. And
Phil, you're making a rather specious argument. To begin with, you're a man, so shut the fuck up. And I'm a man, I should shut the fuck up on this.
Well, how do you know I don't claim German Shepherd?
What?
Well, some people claim women, some people claim man. How do you know what my pronoun is? It's German Shepherd, or it could be French Poodle.
Yeah.
But, hey, you said you're a man. Maybe. Yeah. No, I'm German Shepherd.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, I find your position completely untenable, and you're a male. Males should not make this decision.
I think that people, I'm a person, and I think people should take responsibility for their actions and for the consequences of their actions. And it's not the child's fault that the parents couldn't handle the situation and couldn't afford, didn't want, or it was inconvenient for them to have a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, oh, geez, it's inconvenient. It's expensive. Well, this is life. And, sometimes you do things and there's consequences.
As a person who, I've never had any kids, but if I were to have kids, I would want to be able to raise them.
Yeah. I know that.
I always use birth control for that reason. I didn't know that I had a secure enough life that I wanted to bring somebody else into it. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Excuse me, I'm just going over to get some stuff here that I forgot to get earlier because I had a lot of problems before I came on tonight. It had nothing to do with the show itself. It had to do with getting the show on itself. It was something else altogether.
Oh.
But anyway.
Okay, you don't want to share that, right?
No, it's nothing. No, it had to do with the sports show. The guy wanted to post it. I didn't have my remote PC up correctly, and he couldn't do it. So I was working to find him, and I found out I've never had the phone number of the guy who does our sports show.
Oh, yeah, probably call Damien.
So I couldn't call him. What?
Call Damien.
I wrote Damien, to get his phone number. But anyway, so all I'm saying, Phil, is that if you want to make the argument that we should wait probably until this is codified, then okay, I would go along with that argument because all we know is what Alito felt. We don't know what the rest felt. They said, well, there are enough people there to do it. No, not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't be too surprised if one of the people you expect is going to go for overthrowing Roe versus Wade, that they voted the other way. It happens a lot of times.
I heard 3 justices that were appointed by Trump, and 3 justices, and they all said that Roe versus Wade is the law of the land. Now, Alito wasn't one of them, but the other 3.
Alito was who put Alito in? I think it was it Bush?
Probably.
I think he was a Bush appointee. Yeah.
Yeah, George W.
Yeah. So it happened a long time.
No, Kennedy was George W.
No, what do you mean George W?
The son. There's HW and there's W.
Herbert Walker Bush.
Yeah.
And there's George W. Bush. That's
right.
The second Bush who became president.
I think he put in. Kennedy. I'm not sure, but I don't remember which one put in Alito. It probably could have been George Herbert Walker Bush, but
anyway, forget about it. Anyway,
I just think that people should be responsible for the things that they do in life, and having an easy out or saying that it's my body, it's my right. You do an action.
It is your body, and it is your right.
It's also the child's right to life.
It's against the law. Charlie Wallace has said it, and it's kind of true that. There is a amendment against slavery, and this is enslaving a woman to do something she doesn't want to do.
But her action created the situation. It's not that the situation
What's
was
her action? How about the man's action?
Their action created this situation.
So you're one of these kind of people.
Slavery is you take somebody.
So you believe that they should suffer?
No.
Well,
I believe that there's enough families that want to adopt, especially a baby. And I believe,
I've suffered. I had a girlfriend who got pregnant, had a kid when I was 18, 19 years old. And to this day, it has affected me.
Yes.
To this day. If the abortion were available, it probably wouldn't be affecting me to this day.
Would you have felt that an abortion would have been justified?
Well, in those days, it wasn't to be even considered, although we did check it out. The girl and I, we were checking it out. And then we decided we would get married, but we went down to San Jose and then decided not to get married. It's too long a story to get into, but the fact is that to this day, it still haunts me.
No, I could understand.
Okay, and that could
especially now when
I don't want other people to have to go through what I went through.
Let me ask you this:
I would like them to have options.
Yeah, you did a DNA test, and your second wife Ronnie did a DNA test, and she found a son that she had put up for adoption. Now your DNA test, did it show the possibility that
No.
you had a child out there?
No.
You know, because by this time, that child would have probably been a father or a grandfather.
I figure he's Howard Stern.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think so. He doesn't have your talent.
Oh, good. Very good. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Very, very nice of you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I thought that my, not to get off of this subject, but I thought that my Sirius satellite $5 a month deal was up yesterday or today. And I called them and I said, I want to cancel my subscription. And they went through a whole big deal. What's your phone number? What's your email address? And the guy's reading me the email address back, Echo Tango Yucca. I said, come on, you know, the way you're reading this email address to me, you're giving me a stomach ache.
Yeah.
I said, just put a supervisor on that speaks current, fluent English. And he says, well, I can help you. And then all of a sudden they find your account mysteriously, when you tell them, look, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And so he finds the account and he says, it's not up until November. And so we'll see if they start billing me the $15 a month.
Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Crappy outfit.
And yeah, well, you're talking about Howard Stern. I can't even hear Howard Stern on my $5 a month thing. I don't get it.
You don't get it for the $5 deal? Oh, wow.
I don't know what you got to do to get it, and I'm not willing to pay anymore.
Yeah, well, do you want Howard Stern that badly?
No, I didn't watch him or listen to him when I could get it for free.
Even if he was available to you, would you listen to him?
No.
Okay.
I think, I think his show is inane and juvenile, and I didn't listen to it when I could get it for free.
And you used to listen to my show?
No, actually. When you moved to the Bay Area, I used to get up 6 a.m. and the alarm would go off, and the most obnoxious station that I could put on the alarm was KMEL. And one morning I hear, this is Alex Bennett. And I called you at the station and I says, this the same Alex Bennett that was in New York? And you said, yeah, come on down. Well, you see what you got. But
yes, I got a friend for life, folks.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the way it worked out.
Yeah.
But it's been a thread that has gone through my life for many, many years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
so I don't know if you want to talk about Ukraine. You want to talk about the $40 billion that they're saying Bible verses over that they gave to Ukraine, but women can't get baby formula, and the government is telling them to water it down. And we have all these shortages and things like that. And I agree that Ukraine needs our help, but they're so fast to stand up and help Ukraine, but they're not helping veterans living on the street, homeless, people that are living paycheck to paycheck. It just seems like, why are they picking these deals? Why are they doing this?
One of the reasons why, Phil, is that the two don't have anything to do with each other. No. When you're saying it, it's funny, but I would hate to say that the reason that a lot of these things aren't being taken care of is because the Republicans are stonewalling things that would take care of those problems.
Trump got much better health care for veterans, got the ability for them to go to any doctor and not have to wait through the bureaucracy of the VA. And I'm not standing up for Republicans. I think they're all a bunch of pigs, the Democrats and the Republicans. And I think that, what's happening with this leak and the abortion thing is just another way of deflecting the message that inflation is high.
Listen. So you're saying Alito did it to
no,
as a deflection?
Alito wasn't the one that leaked it.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He's been
identified.
He's been identified as the person who did it.
Well, that's interesting. Why would he do that?
Well, I have no idea. Maybe he wants to see how he defers to 1,400 scholars.
Sometimes people quote Socrates and Homer.
Well, that wasn't the case here. Go back and watch. Did you read the decision?
No.
Go read it. It's online. Read it.
Well, I just see this as an opportunity.
Well, Phil, don't talk about it unless you've read it.
The Biden administration is using to deflect what the terrible story is of his administration, which is gas prices, shortages, inflation.
Gas prices are his fault.
Yeah.
How's that?
Absolutely.
How's that?
Well, on the gas prices, he intentionally raised prices of gas by cutting out domestic production so that people would start using green energy and electric plug-in cars.
I would love for you to prove that.
On it, the inflation was just you'd love for me to prove it, but you can't disprove it either. And as far as the inflation, that is a reaction to what he did. Mm-hmm. And the raise in interest rates is a desperate attempt to try to curb inflation because
where have you heard all this crap?
Where do I hear it? It's just obvious. You just look out the window. You can't see that. That the Biden administration is just
tell me
to cover up.
No, I'm not. But I'm not going to say that he is doing all this to promote green energy.
Well, he started it that way.
No,
he's
what's he done for green energy, Phil?
Well, he's
what's he done for green energy?
Okay, he cut thousands of leases and made it with all sorts of regulations.
Tell me one of those leases. Tell me
one
of those leases that he did away with.
There was one for $2,400 a month on 7th Avenue and 160. What? You had a lease. You said one of those leases. I don't know. I'm not in the
what you're doing
petrochemical business.
You're spouting
I don't have an oil well.
You're spouting off some information that you saw on OAN.
No, I don't get OAN. But on the other hand,
you do get Newsmax, don't you?
No, I don't get that either.
Oh, you liar.
No, you have to subscribe to it.
No, you don't.
I don't subscribe to it.
Oh, boy.
But I did subscribe to something, and I feel like a thief. I'll tell you in a minute.
Tell me now. I don't want any more of your other crap.
Okay, since I'm not in the petrochemical business, I can't answer that question, but it looks pretty obvious to me that that's what's going on, just based on the actions that have been taken.
Okay.
Now, as far as thievery, I signed up. Yeah, I signed up for the YouTube commercial free. Mm-hmm. And now when I watch the YouTube without the commercials, I feel like I'm ripping off the people that have created the content. And it doesn't feel right.
No, you're not, actually.
How do they get that money? That whatever, $12 a month.
You're allowed to run commercials on your YouTube shows, which you can go out and sell and have people pay for. Okay.
Right, but if I'm not getting those commercials.
I believe, and I may be mistaken, but we do get a certain payment for people who just watch us when they have commercial free, when they have subscription. Yeah.
Oh, because I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, what am I? I'm ripping off these people that are creating this content and trying to make some sort of a living or a YouTube gig
Yeah.
by
Well,
making
if it
the.
weren't for that money coming in, I wouldn't be able to survive.
I know that $200 goes a long way. It's just that
It's about
some.
It's about $25 a month, so it's about
Oh, well,
300 a year.
yeah.
About 300 a year.
All right. Well, hey, that's better than a kick in the ass. You'll be able to eat.
And I need more people actually. In fact, hit the subscribe button.
Smash this button.
Smash the subscribe button so that we get some subscribers. I could use another couple of thousand.
Well, I noticed now that I'm not having to push the button to skip all the time that a lot of people have sponsors and they'll spend a good part of their video just plugging their sponsors.
But usually about a minute, and that's it. You're overstating it.
It didn't feel as long when I was watching one or two commercials during, prior, and after the thing, and I thought, hey, here I would be supporting those people a little bit and in their endeavor.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was ripping them off now. But
so listen, can you stick around?
Of course.
Of course, he'll stick around. Yeah, let me bring in Alan here. Alan's the only other person here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far.
Alan's a person? I thought he was a zygote.
Just look out the window and you can see that Biden's fucking everything up. Boy,
Yeah.
That's a statement from somebody that knows zero about the economy.
Oh, and you know.
I know a lot more about
it
than you do. I follow it.
Yeah,
If I'm going to quote something, I'm going to have evidence somewhere. Even on your Republican news, you didn't even have evidence.
Most of your facts are coded in brown because you're pulling them out of your ass.
Well, Alan is unemployed.
I'm retired.
Same thing.
You're just envious.
Yeah. See, even Alex works.
You call this
His eyes lit up when you said that, so there you go.
Yeah, he wants to make sure the operation worked. So, what do we got tonight, Big Al, the kitty's pal?
Well,
I don't know.
I have a
little bit.
Since nobody's calling, I have a list that I have here that I think you might find enjoyable.
Okay.
All right.
We've talked about non-binary and so on and what it means. So I looked it up, and what I got was what kinds of non-binary genders currently exist. You ready?
Was German Shepherd on it?
I think it might be here. Just hold on, But these are non-binary genders. All right.
Donald Trump's the first one.
Okay, hold on a second. Here comes Jeffrey. Okay, let's let him come in here, and then I bet do you have your audio? Your audio's on, I think, Jeff.
Yeah. Big Al, the kitty's pal.
Turn off the browser.
Browser.
Turn off the browser. Okay. You ready for non-binary genders?
Slow but done.
This is a list of non-binary genders. Agender, that's having no gender or being genderless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's for starters. Androgyne, I guess, is what.
Like androgynous.
Identifying somewhere in between man and woman. Okay. Big ender, having two gender identities either at the same time or interchangeably. Okay. Demi-boy. That's partially but not completely identifying as a man, boy, or masculine person. Demi-gender, having partial connection with one gender, male, female, or other. Dem girl, or dat girl probably should be instead of dem girl. Dem girl, partially but not completely identifying as a woman, girl, or feminine person. How about demi girl? Oh, yeah, that was demi girl. Okay.
How about demi-tasse?
NB, ENBY, a slang term to refer to non-binary person. Not all non-binary people identify with this term. Gender fluid, moving between two or more gender identities at different times in different circumstances. Gender queer, a non-normative or queer gender having no exclusive connection to any gender. Is any of this making sense to you?
No.
Are you describing Phil here? I mean,
Did they have pronouns or
Yeah.
anything like that?
Multigender, having more than one gender. Neutrals, neutral or newly or null gender, similar to agender. Boy, this is exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
How about non-binary?
Jeff's got
Guys
to
sit around all day and come up with this?
Non-binary,
Say something.
an umbrella term to describe people whose gender is neither man or woman, can also be used as an individual gender identity for someone who is neither woman or man, but does not identify further.
Jeff had his hand up.
Jeff had his hand up.
Yes, Jeff.
According to my 30-year-old, I'm not allowed to mention any of those things
Why not?
because I might insult him or his girlfriends or somebody or my mother. Who the heck knows?
Pangender, having many or all genders within one's culture. Transfeminine or transfemme, a person assigned male at birth who identifies with a feminine gender but does not necessarily identify as a woman.
I'll be right back. I got something for you.
What, am I boring you?
You gonna change?
Transmasculine or transmac, a person assigned female at birth who identifies with a masculine gender but does not necessarily identify as a man.
Phil just went to get a certificate to prove that he's that person.
Yeah, that's it. But isn't that amazing? Wow. Isn't that interesting? Sure. But that's, and I understand there are close to 50 of these.
Wow.
But that was only a handful of them.
Not enough.
Yeah. Well, why now? What is this with your? What is this? Your son? Or your?
Oh, my son. Yeah, he's very critical about these things.
Really? So, how does he want to be referred to?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
By his name when you're writing a check,
Billy.
right, Jeff?
I mean, would you write Mr.? Would you write what?
I guess I would just call him Andrew. That's all. I don't know.
Well, that's where these pronouns come in. Some people want to be called he, she, or she, he, or all these pronouns. And I'm doing something where it's important to refer to the pronoun to some people. I don't understand those things either.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
I think they came up with those, and this is not sarcasm. I think they came up with those for people that are lesbian or transgender or whatever, so they can identify.
Here it says pronouns in relation to gender identity are nouns that refer to another individual in place of their name in the third person. Traditionally, a woman would be referred to as she or her, and a man would be referred with he or and him. For instance, when introducing herself, a woman might say, I use she, her pronouns. Some, but not all non-binary people, may choose to continue using the pronouns associated with their assigned gender at birth. Other non-binary people commonly use they, them as the pronoun.
What did Bob Dole say? Bob Dole says he always talked in the third person. Maybe he was a lesbian.
Hell, it says, I think I'm non-binary. Do I have to use they or them pronouns? No, you can use any pronoun or combination pronouns you like. In addition to she, her, he, him, and they, them pronouns, there are other pronouns which include but are not limited to sie, her, ze, them, hi, heim, co, cause.
Watching Jeff roll his eyes is funny.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
just
the same
remember,
thing.
50 years ago.
I'm just saying all this to be informative, folks.
Just
to
let
add
me give
to your
you my
knowledge.
50-year
Yeah.
problem.
Am I sounding too old if I say this sounds like a piece of crap to me?
Yes.
I mean,
Well, the whole thing is crap, but Jeff was saying 50 years ago.
50 years ago, I go to this party with a lady who actually was my first wife. But anyway,
this lady was my
and the
first
party
wife.
was at our uncle's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, your uncle is a gay guy. She goes, how do you know that?
You were talking about Happy?
I said, they sleep in the same bed. There's only bedroom, and it's only one bed in the whole place.
Wow.
That was like, that's when I
I say
expressed,
this. I say
and I was
this.
in trouble for that already.
I say this tongue in cheek. Maybe because they're Jewish and can only afford one bed.
I don't think so, because he wasn't, the uncle was Jewish, but the other guy was not.
Oh, well, when we have 4 Jews on the show right now.
Hey, I got my candidate statement for the California election today, and I was looking at under the governor's race. There's this woman. Her name is Maria Dawson. She has no party affiliation, and her statement was "F all politicians." That they printed this in the candidate statement. F all politicians.
Wow.
And then there was this one other guy that was interesting. I folded it over. Now I can't find it. He said his qualifications was, their qualifications was he was a lesbian. That was the total qualification for governor.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the candidate statements that came in today's mail, but since you use a PO box, you didn't get this. You know,
I got it yesterday. You're on the back list.
yeah.
Alex, do you know the comedian named Andy Dick?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was arrested today
Well,
in Southern California.
What's new for Andy Dick?
I don't know him, but it just came across the news. Andy Dick arrested on suspicion of sexual battery, felony sexual battery in a park in Orange County, California.
Well, Andy Dick has had nothing but problems for most of his career in that way. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the charge. The charge is a rather nebulous charge. It could apply to any number of things. So until we hear about the complete story,
He could have been playing with himself in the men's bathroom, and somebody took offense to that.
I mean, yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I know is what just came across the news.
Yeah. I mean, if I started jerking off right here, would that be considered horrible or just disgusting?
Pornography.
Or just disgusting?
It's pornography, I think.
Yeah. By the way, hardly anybody listening tonight. Nobody is writing. Only one person did.
What's going on? Wednesday's usually a popular night. Brian's usually here, and Tony's here to talk about his prostate. And
let's see.
Charlie had baseball or softball today, I think.
Here's Larry Flint's Hustler Club.
No,
He's dead.
Yeah, well, if you figured since Alex was talking about jerking off,
By the way, Dave Bellecci just wrote me and said KMEL station that I used to work at, San Francisco, has been designated the Station of the Year for 2022 by the Bay Area Broadcast Legends California Historical Radio Society. That's wonderful, David, except for the fact that eventually, since the Hall of Fame has been in existence for what, close to 20 years now, something like that.
Least.
Eventually, they'll get around to every radio station in the Bay Area.
But isn't it a hip hop radio station now, or something to that effect?
I don't know what it is. I don't even know if the
can't
call
listen to
letters even exist anymore.
Yeah, I think they exist, and I think they're in the same place, but
Yeah.
it's not the same kind of music that when it was at the top of the charts. I actually don't know what the
my
charts are
question
now.
is that KMEL went through several iterations of formats.
Right.
Now, when they say it's been designated Station of the Year by the broadcast legends, is it based upon their old formats or on their
No.
current format? I guess their
No,
current format.
it says here 106.1 KMEL. It's a contemporary radio station, but it said the Bay Area is #1 for hip hop and R&B. So Phil is right.
Yeah, but my question is, are they giving it the award for when it first started out as KMEL?
I don't know.
Because
I'll
it
see if
says
I
the
can find
historical radio.
Who are the
Society.
legends that they're talking about?
Well, I'm
I
in
just
that
looked
Hall
up
of Fame.
No. I'm talking about the KMEL legends, or is that? Did
They've
they
been
ask you?
designation? What? No, it's the Bay Area Broadcast Legends, which is the Hall of Fame, the California
see.
Historical Radio Society. I think. I don't know. But every year when I read that they're finally getting around to somebody they didn't get around to early on, I'm beginning to think less of my participation in the Hall of Fame there.
Yeah.
No.
Did they bring in Marconi?
No.
Okay.
There's an FM booster in Walnut Creek. I'm looking to see what they won for. I can't find it yet.
There's a CB radio station in Orinda.
Well, no, they've been designated the Station of the Year.
Wow.
Why?
I don't
Because they
know.
play hip hop?
I think so.
Shouldn't it have something to do with, if you're saying the broadcast legends, shouldn't it have something that gives them legendary status?
Yeah. I would think so. Well,
Like Alex Bennett, huh?
yeah. There was a couple of people I read. I get those texts or Facebook posts from Barhoff, and somebody just died. Moen?
Bill Moen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he died. What did he do? I remember his name, but
Bill Moen?
yeah.
What did he die of?
No.
Oh.
Where?
Bill
where
Moen was he was a announcer for. God, I'm trying to remember. Maybe he was originally with KABL. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they had something about KABL as well. I guess that's off the air now.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's the iHeartRadio Music Awards, which is what they won recently, May 22nd.
no, but that's not what this is.
Oh,
Yeah, this is Barhoff.
this is Mark. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm coming back to the show.
Jeff is falling asleep with this conversation.
I'm not asleep, but
He says, "What are these radio stations that start with K? Real radio stations start with W." Right?
I'll tell you a great story, since nobody's listening tonight anyway. I don't understand this. Is anything happening out there? Has the
No.
end of the world begun or something?
It's the glitches that are running across your screen.
I have no idea what those glitches are. Forget it.
did you go out today,
They were there
Alex?
Friday
Yes,
night
yes,
too,
I
the
did go
glitches.
out today. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Took a little walk.
Yeah.
I haven't taken a walk in so long. It was more like stumbling. Okay, but I did it. But years ago, I'm going to tell a story now. Out of school. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Brian Neary. Let me see here. Let's see here. Okay, Brian Neary. Yes. Hello there, Brian. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fine. So anyway, let me tell the story. And I years ago, every year they used to have the Billboard magazine awards. Okay, and you as a subscriber to or a buyer of Billboard magazine could fill out the thing and send it in, and join in on the vote. Well, I was nominated for, I guess it was Disc Jockey of the Year, because that's the only term they ever came up with, was Disc Jockey, which I hate. And the radio station, Live 105, for Station of the Year. Okay? So...
that would have been Billboard, not the Bammies.
And I think they also had Program Director of the Year. Our guy Richard Stans was nominated, and so on. Okay?
That wouldn't have been the Bammies because it was a Bay Area thing.
I'm talking about the Billboard Awards, Billboard magazine. Jeez. So anyway, one day I get a call from somebody, and he says, "I'm don't tell anybody this, but I live up in Santa Rosa, and that's a hub for all the Billboard magazines for the West Coast to come in. So I stole a couple of thousand of them." And he said, "I filled in your name, Camel's name, Live 105's name, the program director's name, I don't know, music director's name, and so on, and mailed them all in." I said, "Really?" I said, "Don't even tell me about this. I don't even want to know you did this. Because I don't want anybody to think I encouraged you to do that."
Yeah, but how long ago did you mail them off?
Well, anyway, finally, I think I'm no longer there. This is when I kind of got let go the first time. The awards come in. The winners come in. Live 105 wins. Program director wins. Music director wins. Guess who doesn't? Me.
Wow.
Hicks was in, huh?
Yeah, so apparently there were some more people that were voting for other people a lot in that one other category. But Live 105 won for Station of the Year. To this day, they actually believe they legitimately won that. Well, I'm here to tell you now they didn't.
Nice story.
But I had nothing to do with it. This guy called me up, and he said, "Oh, we're at this thing." So I just got. I think he didn't take all the billboards. He just ripped out the ballots out of the issue, and then filled them all out and just mailed them in.
But if your name was on all the ones that he filled out for those other people, why wouldn't your name have been included in the same ratio?
Well, because there might have been somebody else. I can't remember what disc jockey won that year, but that disc jockey might have just had an onslaught of people from around the rest of the country voting for him that amounted to more than this guy had filled out. But you get what I'm saying? In other words, yeah. But I thought it was funny that, I thought I was going to win for sure, and I didn't.
Yeah. Who? And you don't know who won. It wasn't that the guy Gutierrez.
No, it was nobody. It was nobody in the Bay Area. It was somebody.
Oh, really?
Another part of the country. Yeah.
It's odd that the station would win, the music director would win,
yeah.
He would win, but not you.
Not me. No.
So, I think it was a fix.
I think this is one of the first times I've told this story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never told it because I don't want the program director to feel that he didn't really legitimately win it, but he didn't legitimately win it.
Well, isn't that's the way most of those contests work?
They're all bullpucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
You left there in 1996, 97?
97, yeah. Yeah. Why? Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't even know who you were when he got on the show.
No. I thought you were
he thought you were Terry McGovern.
I thought I was Terry McGovern. Yeah.
Oh, we don't see Phil's brother. You mentioned that at the start of the show. I thought you were going to bring up Dan Meyer.
No, Muckenmeyer.
Muckenmeyer. Well, didn't you have a relative or something that you did as a character on my show? Or no, it was
I used to claim that I was
Bruce Century.
Bruce Century And the show or the station was owned by Century Broadcasting.
Right.
And so I made up this guy, Thaddeus Century, who was the owner of the station.
Yeah.
And
And you were Bruce Century.
Bruce Century.
Yeah.
And you used to put me on the air with Sonia Ammonia.
Well, Sonia Ammonia was
Susan.
It was Susan. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just have us talk to one another. No wonder.
I don't know where I came up with that name, Sonia Ammonia. It's just,
it was cute.
The marriage was going downhill real quick.
Something like that. Hey, Brian, is back. He's back from Sweden.
And Lodi. And I'd just like to say, when I'm not on the show, I listen to the replays because it's about an hour and 45-minute drive, so it's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So I heard the one that Phil was on like Thursday night, I think. I think it was on Thursday night, not Friday night.
Yeah.
I heard Friday night. Friday night was really good. Thursday night was hysterical. If you need a good laugh, you need to go back and listen to that one.
What were we doing with
everything from Cinco de Mayo from Phil. The blunders, if I was drinking, I would have been pulled over and had a DUI because that, and then going into his daughter's relationship when Alex was grilling him about his daughters.
Well, after the fact,
it was hysterical.
After the fact, I felt guilty about that.
Oh, it was so funny.
I'll tell you why I felt guilty because, I wasn't privy to what went on in the marriage and a lot of times, I have to say this, and I know a lot of women out there are going to be pissed off when I say this, but in divorces, sometimes let's put it this way, one person or the other poisons the other in the eyes of the children. It's not uncommon. And so I don't know that wasn't what went on in Phil's situation.
It was the grandmother.
The grandmother?
Yeah.
Yeah, not that they weren't right about Phil. Let's not even go there. But the fact is that I felt bad that I'd kind of given him a bad time about it, jokingly, but a bad time about it. And
it made for great comedy.
I was being honest, actually. It was all it was. He asked me a question, and I honestly answered it.
Yeah, but you're a horrible human being, but.
Thank you. I practice.
Yeah, and I tolerate it. So anyway, no, but I just don't think that something like that happens without perhaps a certain poisoning on the other end by whoever.
Yeah, and I never told the kids that it was her idea to get the divorce. I didn't want.
Well, if it wasn't her idea, it would be mine. So or so.
Well, you knew her too.
Did I?
You guys used to go to movie openings, when you needed somebody to drag along, and I couldn't go.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I don't even remember.
Alex barely remembers who you are.
I barely remember who you are.
Yeah.
But it was so I felt bad about it. So I wrote you a note about it.
Well, that was kind of you, and I know you're a sensitive guy.
Well, I don't want to bring up something that might be hurtful for you.
No,
I don't want to portray you as a horrible father when, if you were, then only you should have to live with that.
Yeah, well, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, but these kids haven't talked to you.
Huh? Well, one of them sort of does. She has a very high pressure job. And she's supposedly working 18 hours a day.
You can get that way at McDonald's.
Yeah, well, I'd like to be able to tell her that it's really not worth it. In the long run, it just isn't worth it. But I don't get to have those kinds of conversations.
Is she married with family?
She's engaged, and with a marriage pretty soon. And since the grandmother's putting on the wedding, I get another hurtful thing, which is I'm not invited.
So Phil, do as I say, but don't do as I do, is what you're saying with your daughter?
Well, no,
you call me every week and say how stressed you are, how many hours you got to work, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I fixed that too.
I know. Well, you use me as your sounding board.
Well,
He's got the carpet empire. She just has a regular job.
no, she doesn't have a regular job. She's got a really good job, better job than me.
Really?
Yeah, she does movie promotion for Amazon,
Oh, nice.
and she was picked from 4,000 applicants for that job.
Oh,
Oh.
In your business, it's only you and Home Depot. Who else do they pick
Yeah,
from?
really. But hey, I realize now, life is really too short, and I decided that my business is running so smooth without other salespeople
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think I want other salespeople. So I decided to close on Sundays and Mondays, so I could have a little bit of time to myself. I cut the hours, and my business.
But you still
actually is
cut
up.
the carpet.
Oh, actually, business is up almost 40%.
good for you.
Since I'm doing all the sales and don't have any salespeople.
Biden. It's because of Biden did such a good job.
Yeah, I'm booked. My installation department is booked through July 19th. So if somebody comes in and wants something installed, the next date is July 20th.
So you're thriving under Biden.
Right.
Looks that way.
Hard to admit.
Well,
Yeah.
could be. I mean,
Usually I'd be, with the other salespeople there, and I was only taking the overflow. I'd be booked 3 weeks. Well, I'm booked 3 months, and
you know what I don't get? Unemployment is down. Okay.
Yeah.
Sufficiently down, quite a bit.
Mhm.
And you would think that that would make the inflation not rise. But apparently the inflation rises for entirely different reasons than having enough jobs out there.
it's supply chain issues.
Yeah,
there
which
are-
which by the way, can't blame Biden for. He does
I'd
not
like to.
control that supply chain.
Well, look, what happened was, and yes, you can't blame Biden for this, but there was sort of a hiatus on home building, for instance, in my industry. So now that people want to buy homes, and millennials are starting to buy homes, and whatever the generation is, are starting to
It's
buy
Jen
homes.
Psaki. Jen Psaki.
Yeah, Gen Sci. There aren't enough homes, new homes. So those people that would have bought a new home are now in the market for a used home. And I, in the last several weeks, decided that I wanted to buy a townhouse. And I bid on 3 different townhouses, and I got outbid with all cash offers and all sorts of stuff, because there's so many people running after the same item. And the prices will come down, and there will be a recession.
I don't think prices are going to come down in the Bay Area. I think they're going to level off in about a year.
Yeah, but I don't think there's going to be as much demand.
No, there's more inventory now because interest rates are going up. So,
And they're building all these high density apartment.
they're
I don't know what they are.
City all around BART.
Everywhere they start leveling this block, and all of a sudden it pops up, and I don't know where all these cars are going.
Are these multifamily?
But you
or-
must know about all your employees, right?
What?
In your company there?
All his employees. How many employees are there, Phil?
7.
7. Oh,
Not
okay,
Phil.
yeah.
Talking about
Right?
Brian.
Oh, you're talking about Brian. Well, Brian, you've got hundreds, right?
Yeah, I have nobody now, but I had over 500 at the time. Yeah.
What do you mean you have nobody now?
I'm an individual contributor now that I'm working on the expansion projects.
Oh, I see. Okay, but what I'm saying is people work for your company.
Oh yeah.
How many
Yeah.
people work for your company?
A few thousand now.
A few thousand. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about unemployment and the numbers, and where are these people? What's happened is people my age, for instance, are baby boomers, and even Alan's age, and these baby boom, and I guess Alex is before baby boom, but these baby boomers are retiring, and there doesn't seem to be people that are filling their position. You know, my two salespeople that retired, one of them was 65 and the other was 70, and and I haven't been able to replace them. So I believe that there's just people that have exited the employment market, and that's why employment is low. You know, there isn't high unemployment because these people are out of the market, and you know, they were a pretty big contributor to the labor force.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so let me see here. Is there anything else in the news that we haven't touched on?
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty. Let me look.
Let me look.
Seems to be a little war going on.
It seems
Yeah,
to be
where?
Yeah.
How about those hypersonic missiles?
You know, I mean, I'm just I just think that we should be doing more over there than we are doing. We're doing a lot. But what we're literally doing with them is having them fight a war for us by proxy. You know, I mean, we're sending them all the materials. We're sending them we're telling them where the boats are to hit with them. You know, all of that, and we're really fighting a war with Russia by proxy.
We didn't attack Russia, and Russia attacked Ukraine. You know, all we're doing is trying to stop the genocide that's happening.
But I think that how many times have we gone into some place because we said we're there for democracy, we're there for human rights. You know, we use that as an excuse in Vietnam. We use that as an excuse in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan. And yet we're not willing to go into a country that's as peaceful as Ukraine?
Well, we're not willing to send soldiers.
No, but look at what we did initially. No, and
we didn't do anything.
No, what I'm saying is that with all those other countries, we were saying we were going in there for the most wonderful of reasons. We're trying to protect humanity. We're trying to protect democracy. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do that. And yet when it comes to Ukraine, it's, here a bunch of missiles. Go lob them at somebody.
Didn't we learn that doesn't work?
No, it didn't work because the reasons we gave didn't exist.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
but in this case, this is genocide, Phil.
Yes, but we didn't go in to Rwanda when there was genocide. We didn't go in.
We didn't go in to take Hitler down until the
they were bombing England.
Until the Japanese got us involved in the war.
Well, we used Pearl Harbor as an excuse to get into both wars.
Well, maybe we'll get another Pearl Harbor.
Well, I mean, what happened is that there are always stories that Roosevelt knew that Pearl Harbor was going to get hit, and he didn't do anything about it. In fact, the Japanese diplomats left Washington the day beforehand. That should have been a big clue to him, and but he didn't do anything about it because he realized that he wanted to get into the war in Europe, but he couldn't get into the war in Europe unless he had a good reason, and the good reason was Pearl Harbor. Okay, and then as long as we're ramping up for that, let's go get the Nazis too. You know.
I saw a story that I thought was interesting. It wasn't a Nazi story, but I guess Bitcoin and Coinbase is down, and Coinbase warns of bankruptcy could wipe out user funds. Half of value vanishes in days. Crypto needs a rescue. I think we always knew that this was a scam.
Well, I don't think it was a scam as much as it didn't have any basis for existence is the problem. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I had bought crypto early and then seen it rise, and then at the height, bought it, sold out, and gotten a lot of money.
Hey, we all wish that.
Yeah.
But
it's not secure because it's not regulated.
No, Jim Browning, it's not backed by anything. Jim Browning had a friend that you had do a show on Gabnet. What was her name or his name? Her name? She did a show.
Yeah.
Very nice gal. She bought crypto or Bitcoin at 800, I thought. And
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I wonder how she did.
If she
Because
bought it at 800, she's doing well. It closed today at $29,040.
and it was up to what, 50 or 60,000?
I don't think she bought it at 800. I don't remember
64.
that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Maybe-
when this
maybe it
first
was
came
even
out, you
earlier
could have
than
bought
that.
it in the hundreds.
It might have been even earlier than that. And I poo-pooed the whole thing. I never got involved.
I never got involved in it either. It seemed like bullshit to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's bullshit that's worth a lot more. And I think you're right. I think they were valued at like 50,000 a few months back.
yeah.
And then there's, I think, doing some virtual selling of virtual homes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tough to live in a virtual home.
You're talking about Miranda Janelle.
Oh yeah, that's it. Miranda.
Yeah. You're talking about
Yeah.
Miranda Janelle. Yeah.
Yeah, and
If she bought it at 800, good for her.
I
It's
think
worth
it was
29,000 today, and it was down 7.80% today. So she's still money ahead.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that things like that, you don't. What does it produce? You see,
Nothing.
when you listen to Warren Buffett, he says, "I only make investments in businesses that make something, that produce something for their labor." And but what does crypto produce? What does it generate?
Well, I
that-
don't totally understand it. I don't understand, like, if I buy some crypto, how I buy it, where I buy it, and once I've got it, how do I then cash it in?
Right.
You get on.
I think
get
my,
on the
my
internet.
I think my bank, which is Bank of America, takes crypto now.
Wow.
Asshole.
Now Coinbase, that's another one. I'm trying to see the article here. This is from Fortune magazine. It says earnings were bad. Worse still, the crypto exchange is now warning that bankruptcy could wipe out user funds. Coinbase. I don't know which one that is.
That's got to be Biden's fault too, huh?
Yeah, it's Trump's fault. There's a whole bunch of these. Euphorium, or do you know anything about these?
I don't think it's Trump's fault or Biden's fault.
By the way, it wasn't today the day for the election with Dr. Oz down in Pennsylvania?
Don't know. I know that he's running, and he was a couple of points ahead, but there was 18% undecided. He was at 22. The other this morning, he was at 22. The other
Trump
guy was at
supported
20.
him. I thought Trump gave him support.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but the Trump supporters in Pennsylvania seem to not like the fact that he backed Dr. Oz.
Yeah, but usually the ones that didn't get his support don't like the fact that he backed the other guy anyway. Because a lot of people are
the
winning.
fact was that somebody he backed in, I can't remember where, for the governor's race or something, did not
Kemp
win. Did not
in
win.
Georgia.
Did not win.
He came out against Kemp in Georgia.
He came out against him, but he came out for somebody somewhere else, and the guy didn't win.
Was that in North Dakota or?
No, I think it was. I can't remember where it was.
You may be able to get your Twitter account, Phil, back.
I never lost it. I got rid of it because I didn't like what they did.
Yeah, well, the new
conservatives.
guy on the block is going to let Trump back on.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm not.
said that
I'm
several
not, I'm
times
not
now.
against that. I understand his
I'm not
reasoning.
against it either.
I understand his reasoning, and it's valid in that he believes that it was wrong to take Trump off completely, that it wouldn't have been wrong to take him off for a punitive amount of time, or to go online and delete anything they felt was misleading.
Jack
Okay.
Dorsey agrees with that.
Yeah. So who gives a fuck who Jack Dorsey is? You know.
Well, he's still running the business.
No, he's not actually.
Well, he's going to be. I think he's going to be on.
Well, I think what he's doing is he's sucking up for a job, is what he's doing.
I don't think he needs
no.
it. He got like $4 billion.
Yeah, but anyway, the fact is that his reasoning, I think, is pretty good. And I don't want to see Trump back on Twitter.
Well, Elon Musk
you know,
said-
but if you're going to have a platform in which you say this is a freedom of speech platform, then freedom of speech is absolute. It's not qualitatively. You know, if you feel that he's doing something to arouse the people in the country to do something illegal or to start an insurrection like what happened on the 6th of January, then I think there's every reason to take him off at least for a time and hope that he learned his lesson. You know,
Musk said when he takes over, he'll be CEO, and very few people will get kicked off.
He said bots and
work against bots, yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Right, and hate speech will get kicked off.
Well, by bots, what he's trying to do with the bots is to prevent Russia from doing what they did in the last the election one time ago. You know, I think I don't. Marjorie hates the fact that he's going to let Trump back on. To begin with, Trump's probably not going to. He feels he has a wonderful platform in truth. What is it called? Truth
Social.
Consequences.
Well, I know what he's going to do. He's going to do what Jack Bishop does to your show. He's going to go on Twitter and he's going to say, "See what I got to say on Truth Social," and you know. So he's going to go after.
As I say, I think
Twitter.
that you know, and also there's a belief that what he's going to do is he's going to make it a subscription service. Twitter.
What was said was that businesses and government agencies will have to pay a very small fee, but not the general public.
He may not even get approved to buy it. There's all kinds of regulatory things.
I thought he was approved.
No.
Stockholders have got to.
Yeah, but it's got to go. It's got to go through.
The government has got to approve it.
It's got to go through the
Antitrust
SEC.
There's a lot of stuff.
Now, wasn't there a big loss in Tesla stock recently in the last day or so? But I think he'd already pulled the money out.
Oh yeah,
of Tesla.
He's not the only investor though in his purchase.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see that Tesla's coming out with a? It's not like an SUV, but it's like a kind of a truck, but it's not doesn't look like a truck. It looks like a spaceship actually.
Right.
And it's only going to be it's only going to be $39,000, and it's going to get 500 miles to the charge.
That's good.
Yeah,
So
it's 39,000, but you got to pay extra if you want a battery.
Yeah, but you know what happened is it's going to be it's going to be 39,000, and you get this. They say you can actually, if you can charge it for 10 minutes and it'll go 50 miles. Okay, so that's enough to get you home if you're stuck, and it's only 10 minutes. Yeah.
Brian, do you like your Tesla?
He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I would have. So my daily driver is a Cadillac TT6,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish when she got her Tesla, I wish I would have got mine, got one, and got rid of my Cadillac. But too late now. All the prices are going crazy.
I have not seen anywhere online that people don't absolutely love their Teslas.
Yeah.
You know. And
Now you're a Cadillac man, Brian. What do you think of that new Lyric that's coming out? Cadillac Lyric.
I want to see it.
It's gorgeous in the picture.
Yeah, it looks nice. I want to see it.
How much is it? Do you know?
No idea. I've been looking for prices, and then I haven't seen much on it.
Is that the model of a car? I'm lost.
well, the reason
It's a Cadillac SUV. It's all electric.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason you want a Tesla is because, among other things, Tesla has charging stations you can use for free.
At work.
They give you a credit, right?
Yeah, but
car.
yeah, and at work we have a card, so it's free. But at home, now we got our charger all set up, so it's like 8 hours for a full charge. So, and a full charge is like all week.
You plug
Like
it in.
Monday,
You
Friday.
plug it in when you get home.
Mhm.
You then go to sleep, and you wake up in the morning. It's all charged.
Yeah, but you don't even have to do that. You don't have to do that every night.
And how many miles will you get on that charge?
This one's 300 and something.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
bad.
so I just charged it for her last night, 100% now, and that'll last her till like Monday.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors is rebuilding a DeLorean.
Yeah.
DeLorean.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The doors don't open worth a shit, but it's pretty cool.
The doors don't open.
Yeah, well.
Well, then how do you get into the goddamn thing?
They're gull wing.
They're they're like wings. They're supposed to, but it takes like about 6 minutes for one to open. So he's a mechanic and an engineer, and he's got, he's retired and he wants to play with one. It's pretty slick. There's no paint on the outside of the car.
Yeah, it's
all
brushed aluminum.
Stainless steel.
Yeah.
I remember Alex talking about on one of his shows that he liked the DeLorean.
Yeah, right. The rebate comes in the trunk.
Rebate.
Don't you remember DeLorean was arrested for
cocaine
or smoking? Yeah. Drinking.
No. He was trying to finance his company through a cocaine deal.
Probably.
I think it turned out though that was all phony. The government had set him up. It was a government
They were setting him up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was GM making sure he didn't succeed.
Most horns.
Well,
go beep, beep. His horn went toot toot.
Did you see what happened to Mario Batali?
No, what happened to him?
Well, you remember he was charged with, I guess, unwanted sexual advances towards a woman or something like that.
Yeah.
He's
And
the
so
chef.
so it went to trial. It went to trial. He was found not guilty.
What's going to happen with Johnny Depp? Isn't it?
No, but wait a minute. Let me finish with the
okay.
Batali. Batali sold out his interest in Italy, which is a really big outfit. They got food outfits all over the world now.
Sweden.
Yeah, but he sold his portion because they didn't want him to be involved with him because he had this thing hanging over him. Well, now that it's been proven that he didn't do it, or at least determined he didn't do it, shouldn't they give him back his stock or something, or shouldn't they do something to make good on that? Part of his life was ruined with that.
But that was his choice to sell.
Right.
I get they forced him to sell.
Yeah, but he could have put it in the blind trust. He could have.
No, they wanted him out of there. They didn't want their brand tainted by his sexual prowess.
And just because he was found innocent doesn't mean that he really was.
No, don't give me that. If he was found innocent, if he was found not guilty, he was not guilty. Okay,
yeah, that's called America.
Yeah, don't suddenly say, well, it doesn't mean he didn't really do it.
Now, what's going on with this Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing?
Well, the winner of that case is going to get a gold statuette. So it's going to be pretty good all the way around.
You watched any of that? Talk about drama. She doesn't sound very convincing.
Well, a lot of Johnny Depp's ex-wives have said that he wasn't violent, he didn't do these kinds of actions, and that Amber Heard's
I don't know if she's a gold digger, but you know who the boyfriend was before Johnny Depp?
Who?
Elon Musk.
Really?
No way, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Somebody told me, you remember when that drug came on the market? I think it was the EpiPen, and the person that was a CEO raised the price.
Yeah.
Somebody told me today that the woman was Joe Manchin's daughter, from the senator from West Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I need to look that up. But
the one Democrat that voted with all the Republicans today to not override the Supreme Court thing.
Well, it wasn't to override the Supreme Court thing. It was to make it a federal law that should be allowed to have an abortion. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what one day we'll discuss what the fuck is with Joe Manchin.
No kidding.
Anyway, hey, listen, thank you, Phil. We're always glad you stuck around, because if you didn't stick around, it'd just be me and Alan for a while, and then Jeff, and then finally Brian, who, thank God, he calls.
Just remember what Marina said: F all politicians.
That's right. Everybody here, why don't you give...
Hey, Dan! Come here.
Oh, make a quick
Hurry,
appearance.
hurry! Come here, say hi.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna draw together.
Okay, we're gonna draw.
Whoa.
We're gonna draw something for Alex. Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, anyway, everybody give a big wave goodbye and good night. And thank you, Phil. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Brian. And thank you, Adrian, for making an appearance. We appreciate it. Okay. God, she's gorgeous.
One of these days, she's gonna have to dance on the show.
Yeah, she is just gorgeous. Anyway, thanks, everybody. Let me see here. Let me get rid of you guys and just come over to my camera here. And let me get rid of the audio for them. And let me then hang up on everybody and say goodnight to them. And then Jack Bishop is next. He's here with the intersection. He'll be taking your calls on Skype at GabNet Live. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same station in life, 10:30 here on GabNet. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, you know what? Tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice night.